Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 9 of It Came from Beyond the Videostore Shelves, the video podcast where we take a journey through all of the unwatched movies in my VHS collection, and we're going to check those out one by one and see what I've been missing all this time, letting these movies just pile up in the corner. So today we're going to check out a horror movie from 1981 called One Dark Night. And to be fair, this isn't exactly the first time that I've seen this movie. Way back when we ran the video store, I always kind of had a couple guys that I would talk to who would rent horror movies such as myself. And one of these customers returned One Dark Night, and he was raving about how good this movie was. So I pulled it off the shelf that night, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to check this out. You know, this guy said it was really good. Unfortunately, I only made it about 20 or 30 minutes in, man, and I was like, dude, this dude has shitty taste in horror movies, and, you know, this fucking movie sucks, and I put it on something else. So I did watch like the first 20 or 30 minutes of this way back decades ago. But it's been in my collection, so I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and give One Dark Night another chance. Maybe I missed some things or whatever. Maybe I might be a little bit more patient with old age now. But anyway, this came out in 81. This is a Thorn EMI release. Thorn usually puts out pretty good shit. Most of the horror movies that you're going to get on Thorn EMI releasing is high-end stuff. I mean, you know, shit like Edge of the Axe and, you know, The Return of the Living Dead. Most of these VHS releases, at least horror-wise, from this distributor is pretty sought after. They're kind of expensive. One Dark Night is one of the ones that you could still grab for pretty affordable. You could catch these for about somewhere between like 20 and 30 bucks. Of course, you have a couple cats trying to sell them for like 50, but I've seen them a lot around that $20 or $30 range for One Dark Night. Anyway, what this flick is about is you have this psychic named Carl Raymore, and when the movie opens, they go to his apartment, and they find him dead along with like 6 other teenagers dead in this apartment. And they don't know what happened, what went down. And they not really bury, they put Mr. Raymore in a mausoleum. And then it kind of cuts to, this high school. And this high school has this kind of clique, a gang, or whatever you want to call it, a group of friends of 3 girls. And they have another girl who wants to join their club. She wants to be in with the popular crowd, I guess you'd say. But the problem is, this girl is dating the ex-boyfriend of, this little group's leader, the woman who's basically in charge of this group of girls. So she's she's kind of jealous that her ex-boyfriend is, seemingly really happy with this new girlfriend of his. So she decides that she's going to kind of take it out on this poor girl. And they come up with this idea of like, you know what, if you want to be in the group, if you want to be part of the gang, you're going to have to do this initiation. And, so what's going to go down is we'll let you in but you're going to have to spend the night in this mausoleum with all these dead bodies. So, she reluctantly agrees to do this. And these other girls decide that we're going to break in to the mausoleum and we're going to scare the shit out of this girl. And then she's going to leave. She's not going to spend the night. Then we're not going to have to let her in, our gang. And we're also, we'll be able to, fucking tease the shit out of this little girl. Because, she'll be a chicken shit and all this stuff. So they bring this chick to drop her off at this mausoleum. And one of the friends gives her a pill. And they tell her that it's a downer, that it'll help her sleep. If she can't sleep, take this pill. But what it really is a fucking, like a hallucinogen. Something to make her, on edge. Make her super nervous. So they figured, if she takes this pill, she's going to be fucking just tripping balls in there. And then we're going to be able to scare the shit out of her a lot easier. So they put this girl in there. She's spending the night. Everything's going good. But they decide that, we're going to go break into this back window and we're going to scare this girl. Now, meanwhile, Carl Raymore has this estranged daughter who, he hasn't really been there for her. He's kind of stayed away from this girl. And she finds out through a colleague of Mr. Raymore's that, kind of beyond the scenes, what is going on, the kind of shit that this guy was into. And basically what he was doing is he found a way to, if he terrorized a person enough, if he scared someone enough, he was able to feed off of their fears and their life energy and use that for himself and conduct telekinesis. He would be able to move and manipulate shit with his mind. So the daughter's kind of finding out all this stuff, in the meanwhile, which she also inherited some level of psychic abilities from her father. So they got this stuff kind of going on the back burner, while these girls are going to break into this mausoleum and scare their friend. So they break in, and what ends up happening is Carl Raymore's corpse begins to feed off of the energy in this mausoleum, and he starts moving shit around, and they don't really tell you why. I guess he was trying to gain enough energy to remanifest, to resurrect himself. I guess that was kind of implied, but they never really tell you the reason why his corpse starts moving shit around. Anyway, you got the two girls going there. They're doing a pretty good job at scaring the shit out of this other poor girl. But what happens is Carl Raymore's corpse starts to move shit around. He starts opening graves, and he starts, making bodies move. Which, I gotta say, the bodies look badass. Like, the mummified corpses, and you can't really call them zombies because they didn't walk. They really didn't move. Basically, he was controlling all of these events that was happening with his mind. So instead of like zombies walking down the hall trying to grab you, he was just like floating the dead bodies around the room. And, he ends up catching these two women from this gang and, terrorizing them to the point to where he could absorb their energy. And he basically terrorizing these girls by moving these bodies and like fucking slapping dead bodies against them and shit. Which, it's a little weird. It's different, But I'm sure it was scary as shit, having a dead body smack you upside the head and shit. But so you have these two girls kind of getting a taste of their own medicine now. And then, the boyfriend of this other girl who they were picking on this whole time shows up to kind of try to save his girlfriend. And then the daughter of Carl Raymore shows up to finally take care of her father, to finally, stop whatever's going on, because this whole time she's having visions of, what's gonna occur with her father and these teenagers in this mausoleum. So she shows up to stop the dad from, whatever his plan is, from resurrection or whatever he's trying to accomplish by sucking energy out of these teenagers. Which, even him, he doesn't talk or anything. It's just, his coffin drops and opens, and it's just his corpse with lightning shooting out of his eyes and shit. Yeah, man, I gotta tell you, with this film, I would probably give this, I don't know, I'd probably give this a 4. I was going to say 5, but I don't know if I would give it a, let's go 4.5. I'm going to say 4.5. Because, old, very younger me had the right idea with turning this shit off. Because this fucking movie is so slow, man. It is painstakingly slow to start. I mean, you're about an hour and 10 minutes into this thing before anything interesting happens. I mean, this movie is 94 minutes. Has a 94-minute running time. So you're like 70 or 80 minutes into it before anything happens. Now, what I will give it is the end is pretty fucking cool. Whenever these corpses start to become, I mean, you can't say resurrected because they're not really zombies, but they, when Raymore starts moving these corpses around with his mind, that shit was pretty awesome. It looked really good. The effects and shit was cool looking. They had some nice gore in there, especially, at the end, where the daughter finally, has it out with Raymore's corpse. That was really cool looking. But man, it was a long fucking ride to get there, dude. It's like you fucking drove all the way to fucking Wally World and it was closed down, Felt like the fucking Griswolds watching this movie, man. It was just so boring. So yeah, dude, I wouldn't really recommend watching this whole flick, man. It's you'd be so much better off trying to catch like the last 10 or 15 minutes of this on YouTube or something instead of sitting through the whole movie. Because even there's really no, there kind of is a climax, but there really isn't a climax. Like, everything goes down, and of course, Raymore is dealt with. I don't want to really go into the end too much and tell you guys how it all happens, just in case you do want to watch One Dark Night. But, there's an ending in that sense, but not really an ending as far as story-wise goes. They don't really get into what the daughter does next. Why did she want to, take out her father like that? Why did she want to get involved? What happens with the girl and shit? It just kind of ends, and it's just like, the night's over, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, it's a long ride, man. The end looked really cool. Most of the movie is just a snore fest, which is a shame because the end was done really well, and the effects was really cool looking, and it was probably one of the better, even though it wasn't technically zombies, it was one of the better zombie sequences I've seen in movies. The end part of One Dark Night. So it's worth watching for that, I guess. I would try to catch it streaming. I don't know if I would personally seek out a copy of this for my collection. Unless you could find one on the cheap, just to have it, that'd be pretty cool. If you're one of these collectors that's really into completing labels, that'd be a reason to track down One Dark Night. But yeah, man, it wasn't a super enjoyable movie. Just by the time that you get to the good shit, where you get to like the money shot of the movie, you're just so fucking done with it. It doesn't have the effect that it should, If they would have just had some cooler shit towards the beginning and the middle of this movie, it would have been so much fucking better, man, because it just doesn't pay off like it should. Even though the end was fucking awesome, when you get there, it's not enough to make up the fucking an hour and 10 or hour and 15 minutes you sat there watching this bullcrap to get to the good part. So it was kind of a letdown, man. I was hoping this would have been better than it was. But, that's just kind of what I think about it. It was just too slow, man. It was just way too slow for a movie for me. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We still have, hundreds and hundreds of movies to go through. So far, we've done all horror movies, but, I still have a shitload of action movies I got to go through. There's a bunch of, comedy stuff. When I get to the action and the comedy stuff, I'm going to try to do some of the more obscure films, things like, raunchy comedies, fucking along the lines of like Porky's and stuff like that, but not the popular ones, just stuff like Splits or Cheerleader Camp and stuff like that, and just out there action movies that no one's heard of and shit like that. So yeah, we still got a bunch to go, man. So subscribe, hang around till then, and let me know what you thought of One Dark Night, man. Maybe this is a movie that you dug. Feel free to comment down below if you like this film. If you think I'm kind of being too hard on it. Personally, as I said, many times before, it was just too slow for me, man. When the shit got going, it was good. The climax was really good. But the problem is it took you fucking an hour and 20 minutes to get to that point. And, by then, you only had like 10, 20 minutes of the movie left. So 20 minutes of enjoyable movie, an hour and 20 minutes of fucking snooze fest. If that's what you're into, check out One Dark Night. And, hang around, and I'll see you guys next time, man, for our next movie. In fact, I'll go ahead and tell you guys what's coming up next. And we're going to be taking a look at a movie called Grandma's House, which I'm guessing is about a killer grandma. So hang in for episode 10, And you guys take it easy, man.
Carl Raymar died of an apparent heart attack, but the bizarre condition of his apartment and the true cause of death of the missing girls remains a mystery at this hour.
Do you have any idea why your father murdered those girls?
There's no proof that he murdered them. Please, no questions.
Here you go.
Julie ain't no sister yet, Kitty.
Well, she's passed every test you've given her.
For your information, Leslie, I'm far from finished with her initiation.
I've got to prove I can do it.
All she wants to do is show how weak and chicken you are.
Yeah, and that's all the more reason why I won't back down.
So I'm supposed to stay out here all night?
Of course not. You're staying in there.
Mausoleum?
Uh-huh.
We'll be back in the morning to make sure you stayed in there all night long.
How are we gonna scare this girl?
Mrs. McKenna, my name is Samuel Dockstetter, and I'm a feature writer for the World of the Occult. Do you know anything about bioenergy? It's the electromagnetic force in all living things. Carl Raymar was one of the only true practitioners of telekinesis in the world.
Raymar. He could move things with his mind.
He was a genius in his field until...
They found a whole bunch of dead girls in his apartment.
Doing some hereditary studies, we found that members of the same family often possess similar psychic powers. Considering the strength of his powers, it would be interesting to follow up.
Maybe he wants... I'm going back there. Back to the mausoleum.